Hello guys, I'm back from another video and today was about what if Belle had a symbiote. So in the last video we talked about how after they basically gotten their brand new familiar house being the one that they basically got after the whole board game with Apollo, they recently gotten some considerable feedback, including Belle becoming now level 9. And so, many people decide to flock to their familia to try and join. After finally joining their, familia specifically, and by the way, unlike in the anime or in canon, they don't get everybody just trying to join them, basically try and decide to not. Because in the anime, they don't get their debt or don't have any debt on them, so thankfully, they do have now some new members for the Milia. So, and as for the part where they gone to the red light district, aka the Ishtar Familia's base of operations, when they did saw both Makoto and her friend basically going to that area, they decide to go in, but shenanigans ensue. Belle get captured and also almost got, let's just say smashed all the pelvis to the point that's where your pelvis is basically just turned into nothing but dust. But thankfully he escapes and also met Haruhime. Haruhime told him about how she was, disowned by her family, as when he does basically go back to his, familiar members, Belle would want to have an extreme explanation about why they decided to go there. So when they did explain, Izuku would get a mental image of this girl by the name of Haruhime, and kind of realizes that it's probably the Haruhime from the brothel, or the Japanese type one. So they decide to go back home because they probably think that, Hestia is worried, and yeah, they're correct. And so, this is basically what happened last episode. And so, let's talk about what happens next. So, when they do get back to their, little mansion, Hestia doesn't even notice that they basically ran away. So, when they do come back, they decide to just have a little bit of a talk. So, apparently, they're mostly about how and why they decided to go to that place specifically. Specifically, the whole, wait for a second, the Ishtar Familia's territory. She explains that apparently she was, or at least, she tells everybody that the reason why she became, an adventurer is because she wanted to bring some money for the shrine. And because of this, they also met Haruhime. Apparently, she was a noble woman, and they would always play every single night. But when the time came where they're going to be going to Orario, they heard that apparently, Haruhime was deceived and basically was sold off to slavery. And not only that, becoming a prostitute at the Ishtar Familia's little area, or the red light district. After confirming that, Haruhime was the same Haruhime that he met after basically escaping from the, Amazonians, because apparently she said that she had blonde hair and, let me just check, and greenish eyes. Izuku would tell them that he sort of met her, as when Makoto hears this, she would say this. Wait, you met her? What? How's she doing? Is she okay? As Belle would say this. Well, not technically okay. He would explain that Haruhime was quite interesting at least. I didn't tell you this because, in the last video I was kind of a bit tired, so why not tell you the like the rest of the thing, or at least like the rest of the idea that I had for her story, at least. So, apparently, during his time basically talking to her, she acted super sporadically and told Belle that she doesn't want to be saved. Apparently, she was, and I quote, too far gone and impure. When Makoto hears this, she would say this. But as Belle would say this, maybe we could maybe try and capture her, but it will be pretty much trouble, especially with the whole Apollo Familia fiasco, so we don't have another one of that. As she would say this. Agreed, so what should we do? As Belle would say this. How about this? How about you try and capture her back by, oh, I don't know, maybe like infiltrating her ranks, maybe? I don't know. As she would say this, being Makoto. That sounds like a great idea. As Belle would say this. You know I was just joking, right? As she would say this. That actually sounds like a great idea, so why not? As Belle would just say this. Are you... Fine. Let's do this then. So wait for a second. So, they basically talked a little bit, but they decided to get some lunch later. So, when both Belle and Makoto started going to lunch, they meet with Hermes. If you probably know the anime, you'll probably know that he basically gave a killing stone for, like, giving a killing stone to Ishtar for, Haruhime. I'm not going to tell you the rest because it's probably going to be a spoiler if you're still watching it or still watching the anime. So, just imagine like this. Wait for a second. So, when they do come into the tavern, they decide to sit with Hermes, as apparently they were talking about the whole, Haruhime business. As he would say this, Haruhime, eh? So you're trying to capture her back? Or at least get her back? As Makoto would say this, yes, so maybe we could try and, like, buy her away? I mean, we have a lot of money, so... As he would say this, maybe, but it will probably be trouble. What is her name again, exactly? As Belle would say this, Haruhime. Apparently she was a Renard or something. And I forgot to tell you all of this again. Um, Apparently she's also called a Renard, so... I don't know what Renard is in the anime, I kind of forgotten. So, let's just, say that she was Renard and just move on. As when he said that, Hermes would kind of look, kind of scared, as he would say this. Um, did you say that she was a Renard? Specifically a demi-human? Half fox? With blonde hair and green eyes? As Belle would say this. Yeah? As he would say this. I'm really sorry, but during my time there, I actually went there to the Ishtar Familia's headquarters to meet up with Ishtar. I was sent to bring her a special item called a killing stone. When Makoto heard of this, she would say this. So, can you mind telling me what is a killing stone exactly? As he would say this. I would rather not talk about it. That's the only information I have for you, so wait for a second. Sorry about that. So, Hermes would say this. Sorry, but it's probably gonna be trouble for me, so maybe next time if you're telling me about this, maybe ask me first about the whole thing. Or at least, kind of, at least all of the whole thing. So, I guess good luck for both of you, as Belle, and also, wait for a second. Makoto would say this. Yeah, we we can obviously try and catch her, or at least save her, at least. As Makoto would say this. Yeah, let's do this. So, yeah. Let's go to a different perspective. In this case, the perspective of a certain lustful familia. And I'm not even joking. So, we move to the Ishtar Familia's headquarters. led by Ishtar, aka useless goddess in my opinion. It's just me talking about like fate again. Oh, God's sakes. Literally. Oh, I'm on a roll. Anyway, so Ishtar is explained that apparently the full moon is apparently going to be coming there very soon. And the reason why she wants to have the killing stone is because she kind of has a bit of a grudge. Specifically a grudge towards a certain um Freya, to say the least. Apparently she wants to get revenge on Freya for being the so-called most beautiful goddess. And by doing that, she wants to declare war on him. She also heard about how Ishtar is kind of in love or obsessed with Mr. Bell Cornell, as she tells every single one of her familiar members to try and capture him, and telling them to not damage him. At least not a lot, because she wants to provoke Miss Freya so she can take her down all by herself. So, after being told of this, they also explain that the killing stone is going to be perfect for them because if they kill Haruhime at the right time, specifically basically a full moon, which is going to be coming very soon, they will become so powerful that no other like familiar can beat them. So, as when they were told about like the whole like Bell business, they decide to try and capture Bell in the dungeon. And so we move back to Bell. So yeah. So Bell decides to go to the dungeon because he was quite bored and also needed to get some more money so they can maybe try and maybe go for that route, specifically the route where they decide to go and just buy her off. So he decides to just kill some monsters and get some more money out of that. Sorry about that. So, after a while of looking through the dungeon and finding no freaking monsters for some reason, Asbel would think this. I think it's because I'm probably too strong for them, and I think they're super afraid of me. Asnol would say this. Isn't that obvious? And besides, these monsters are nothing more than pathetic little whelps. They're nothing more than prey to us. Asbel would say this. I guess you're right. As Bell would feel something behind him, as he would hear the sound of a sword coming towards him as he would dodge, as Bell would look over and see Ishtar. Not Ishtar, I meant Aisha. Wait for a second. So, Aisha would start charging forward as she would say this. Damn, you're strong. I mean, it's not really surprising after all. You did defeat, Hyacinthus? I can't remember his name, though. Yeah, I think it was Hyacinthus. But either way, you're gonna be captured by us. As Bell would say this, what do you mean by As he would see several more, well, Ishtar familiar soldiers by Ishtar. Not Ishtar, I meant Aisha's side. As Bell would say this. I see. As one of them would say this. You're outnumbered 10 to 1. As Bell would say this. The only thing that I'm surrounded here is not by stupid little soldiers. As his arms would transform into the dragon-like arms, as Bell would just say this, but surrounded by dead men and women, as he would start charging forward and start slashing them, tearing off their limbs, as try and attack them more efficiently, he would decide to bring out All Black and start slashing the ground as several tentacles would come out and start murdering them. As in, basically like crippling them to the point that they can't move. So, Aisha would still keep dodging. Bell is not wearing his armor, unfortunately, so when Bell is about to like slash at her neck, he would get knocked out by another, well, um, wait for a sec. Gets knocked out by another little, you know, um, member of the Ishtar Familia being a little girl, after getting knocked out, he would be captured and brought back to the little brothel, or aka the Ishtar Familia's base. So yeah, wait for a sec. So all of you are thinking, wait, how about Makoto? Well, Makoto's not going to be joining this, so unfortunately, this is going to be only Belle. So Belle is going to suffer a lot more because why not? I mean, he's still good for Belle, so I guess so. So when Belle is basically captured, he would be brought to the Ishtar Familia's base, as he's basically captured and brought to a large, well, room, as he would look over and see a dead body. I mean, that's not even, well, terrifying enough, because when he looks over and sees the door open, he would see, Rhina, aka the frog-like girl, or the frog-like, member of the Ishtar Familia. She would say this, "Oh, you're finally awake." As Belle would say this, "Get me out of here," as she would say this, "Oh, don't worry. Besides, you're gonna be all feeling pleasure from me very soon. And you probably might die before that. But still, don't worry. Your death is gonna be quick and painless." As Belle was still trying to get out of there, as another person would arrive, being Haruhime, as she would say this, being Raina, "Hurry up and get me the keys." As after she gives the keys to her, she would tell her to just stay there and guard the door. So, after staying out there with, Raina basically going away, she would go back into the whole thing, or the whole, torture, like the freaking torture chamber, which is filled with the rest of her so-called lovers, which are freaking dead, by the way. He would get, rescued by her, as Belle would say this, "Wait, what are you doing?" As she would say this, "I'm obviously trying to, save you, and I won't let you get hurt, just like the rest of them." As Belle would say this, "I see." Wait for a second. So, they started fleeing, like, both Belle and Haruhime would start fleeing in a large tunnel to try and run away. But let's go to a different perspective, shall we? So, in this perspective, we're going to be talking about a certain, Makoto. Makoto is currently trying to find Belle after he basically, I don't know, disappeared in the dungeon, as she would find a piece of his, normal-ish armor. What do you mean by normal-ish armor? I mean his armor that he mostly uses as, like, normal-ish protection if he's not using his symbiote. So, after telling Hestia about this, she would call his, her old, god. Specifically, Makoto's god, specifically Mr. Takemichizuchi. After telling him about, Belle's disappearance, well, they would also tell Hestia about how they've basically gone to the, to the red light district to try and save Haruhime. As when Takemichizuchi was told of this, Takemichizuchi would say this, "So, why did you exactly do it? I mean, you were trying to save her, but still." As they would explain that apparently Belle, well, and also Lily basically came along, but apparently, Belle found her in a brothel, as when, but when, Hestia heard that, let's just say that, Hestia is kind of angry. And let's just say, if she finds Haruhime, she's definitely gonna have a word with her. And also, after telling them about the whole Killing Stone business, thanks to the help of Hermes, when, Takemichi Suzuki heard that, well, he would say this, "Wait, You mean that killing stone? As she would say this, yeah? What is so wrong about. As he would explain that the killing stone was a special forbidden item that is used for trapping the souls of Renards. And when they use these special killing stones, they're able to use the powers of Renards, also known as wait for a second, also known as Jujutsu, which super elaborate, not gonna lie. After being told of this, we also go back to Belle, currently, let's just say suffering to say the least. So, Belle is basically trying to escape the Ishtar Familia's walls, as when Aisha basically arrives, she would say this. So, you escaped. Hmm, you're quite resilient, especially you, Miss, wait for a second, Miss Haruhime. As Haruhime would say this, Belle, start running. As Belle would say this, no, I'm not letting you get a. I'm not letting you getting captured by them. As she would say this, no, just just leave me alone. Just let me die here. As Belle, as Belle would say this, wait, die here? As Aisha would say this, good girl. As she would capture her and basically tell the rest of her, you know, squad to basically try and capture Belle. Belle would basically escape by activating his armor. As Noel would say this, hey Belle. As Belle would say this, what is it? As he would say this, I'm guessing that you didn't recapture that girl, or at least bring her back. As Belle would say this, just shut up, Noel. Let's just start escaping. As when they did escape that, terrible time, they basically start limping back to Rario. Basically, he basically started like walking there by himself, but occasionally flying. So yeah, wait for a second. So, when he did came back to Arario, he was beaten and almost kind of hurt. As when, you know, Hestia saw that, let's just say she was kind of pissed. Actually, not really kind of. More like seriously pissed. So, the rest of her familiar members, specifically the ones that were recruited during the whole recruiting process, would see Belle in this state. They would be heard by a certain, angry goddess. Specifically, I don't know. Wait for a second. Miss Hestia. Hestia would explain that apparently, Ishtar is planning on getting the killing zone and using it on a certain Renard, specifically Haruhime. If they do, they will get a special type of ability, which is called Jujutsu, and apparently they want to stop it. So, every single member of the Hestia and Takumi Tsuchi familia would decide to join, so they can at least, defeat them, so they won't, cause any chaos. So, Bell would also want to join even though he's kind of injured, but Hestia would tell him to just stay down and just let him just like rest. But Bell says he's okay. Bell would just say, don't worry. Besides, as his arm would start, healing rapidly at rapid speeds, thanks to the help of Null, as Null would say this. Besides, I can obviously heal him. So, let's try and recapture that little fox girl. So, yeah. So, after doing that, they decide on doing a plan to try and recapture Haruhime from the Ishtar Familia. So, wait for a second. So, apparently both Bell and also Makoto are going to be the first ones to go in. So, Bell would basically break in by basically turning himself into, I don't know, into a Black Knight, and basically flying from the sky. And as for Mikoto, she starts running through the ground, as she starts like, doing some reconnaissance, being like a freaking ninja for some reason, or whatever you want to call it. As when Bell jumps down, he attacks some members of the Ishtar Familia by using All Black, causing them to basically get knocked out. As he would start running through the mansion of the Ishtar Familia, basically destroying everything by using his blade and also his specialized, brand new technique that he learned. So, apparently he's able to use tentacles, right? So, why not use these tentacles and activate them almost like a bomb? So, that's what he did. He's able to create special balls that, when thrown at an enemy, it would explode and turn into basically like a, like rope, like automized rope. So, when he throws it at an enemy, it would wrap up the enemy, turning them into nothing more than. Actually, they're not even nuisances. They're more like just useless now. So, Bell would start using them as he starts running through the mansion, as he would decide to transform back as he sees Ishtar. Ishtar is basically on one of the floors, more specifically in the stairs, basically walking down as she would say this. So, you must be Bel Cornell, the man that's fused with a foreign god from another world, right? As Bel would say this, give, give, give Haruhime back, or I'll, as she would say this, oh, sorry, but unfortunately, I won't let you touch Haruhime. Besides, she's a Renard, and with the Killing Stone, we can become much more powerful than any other familiar ever. And also, I heard that she's also level boosted. So, when we do get the Jujutsu, we can become even more powerful. Even more powerful than any other familia. Including that stupid Not Ishtar, I meant. Including that stupid Freya. Now, as for you, Mr. Belcornell. Wait for a sec. So, Belle would basically get attacked by several of her familia members, as Belle would say this, God damn it! Why did I let my guard down? As she would say this, hey, one of my members, as one of his, or one of her familia members would say this, what is it, Miss Ishtar? As she would say this, try and check his level. I want to see how much he's gone strong, because I'm quite interested. As when he does, he uses her blood as they would see his stats, as his stats are overpowered as hell, including the whole skill that allows him to basically nullify her arm. As she would say this, wait, you're able to, no, you're able to, you, you can't be charmed by my beauty? What are you? As Belle would say this, well, I guess you could say that I'm a monster, but either way, I should probably go back to my friend over there, in the ritual site specifically. So, you better get out of my way. As Bell would transform into his Black Knight form, as he would sprout out wings and start going to the ritual site. So, when Ishtar saw the whole ordeal, or specifically the part where Belle is not able to basically be charmed by her beauty, she would be pissed. Wait for a second. So, Belle, or more specifically Makoto in this case, because this is going to be a different perspective, Makoto is basically in Killing Stone ritual site where Haruhime is basically chained up as the rest of the guards of the Ishtar Familia would start charging towards her. She would easily beat the normal leveled guards, but one person would stand in her way. Specifically, well, what's her name? Rhina. Yeah, Rhina, I remember now. The frog-like girl. As she would start smashing on her, saying, "You're nothing more than weak, and you call yourself beautiful? You're nothing more than an ugly bitch compared to me." As she would start smashing her axe into her. But she would decide to do this instead. Because of all of the people there, she would decide to use her special skill, which is a self-destruct sequence. She does it as several of the guards would basically be knocked out. Wait for a second. So, after using that skill, she would be tired as she would fall down to the ground, because that skill kind of hurt her a little bit. As in hurt, I mean pretty much hurt her a lot. So, and as for Bell, he would basically arrive at the killing zone, thing, as he would see, Haruhime basically about to be sacrificed. He would take down the guard that's basically getting ready to, sacrifice her to the killing stone, as he would use All Black and basically destroy the stone from there, saving Haruhime. So, after he did that, he would, just be super tired, and he would lay there with Haruhime in his arms, at least. So, yeah, unfortunately, this is going to be the end of this episode. So, yeah, I hope you liked the video, comment and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye-bye!